Hey guys, what's going on and welcome to today's video for Legends of Runeterra. Spoiler season, it's continuing. We got a new mechanic as well today. I love it. I'm just gonna say it outright. This is probably my favorite mechanic in Runeterra at the moment. There's probably another mechanic that I could say I like just as much, but in terms of keywords alone, this is probably my favorite thing so far. Granted, I like the countdown mechanic too. I don't know, I like Shurima. We got Predict today. So, let's take a quick look at Predict. Why not? Okay, here we go. Predict. Before we look at the cards, let's look at the new keyword. Predict says, pick a card from among 3 in your deck, shuffle the deck, and put that card on top. Not high impact. Very, I don't know how to describe it. Not flashy, very subtle, if you will. But this ability is so powerful. These kind of abilities, smoothing out draws, letting you get not exactly what you want, but letting you find what you would like soon is so good. It's like, let's say I want some more removal. You play a card with Predict, and you see, like, I don't know, a Mystic Shot or whatever. You're like, okay, cool. I want to put that Mystic Shot on top, etc., etc. Now, reading how Predict works, I'm assuming it's not the top 3 because I assume if it was the top 3, it would say top 3. I assume these are just 3 random cards in your deck. So they could be like the top card, the card in the middle, and the bottom card, if you will. Could also be the bottom 3, whatever. Also, I believe this is our first shuffle effect. Actually, that's a lie. I think is it called Pack Elnuck? The 5 mana Elnuck? I think that card shuffles. I'm not 100% certain because it's been a while since that card was even slightly playable, but I think that card might shuffle. But a card like this, a card that shuffles or an ability that gives you shuffle abilities or a way to shuffle your deck is surprisingly strong if you have not played card games where you have not played a card game where shuffling is a common thing. In other words, Magic the Gathering. There's other card games that do this too, but there's a reason why cards like fetch lands are really nice. That and they're just good cards. Anyway, though, that's enough talking about Predict. We got more landmarks, more countdown, and more stuff. I might have lied when I said Predict is my favorite new keyword, because I really like countdown. I like what they're doing here with countdown. I talked about this before when we first saw Countdown. For both of these new Countdown cards, these landmarks, the first one is Ancient Preparations. 1 mana, landmark. Play the card, Predict right away. You already get something right away without even having to wait for the countdown to happen. So that's nice. So 1 mana, just Predict right away is pretty decent. It's going to suck in the late game, sure, because it'll take time to get going, but Countdown to summon a Clockling. Clockling is just a 1 mana 2/2, no special tribe at the moment. Maybe in the future they'll add one, but for now, nothing. Just a 1 mana 2/2, no keywords, no anything. I feel like this is going to be the 1-drop of choice for non-aggressive Shurima decks. It helps smooth out your draws if you get it early on. And it gives you something to help contest the board. Not a great card to contest the board, and it comes out a little late. It comes out on turn 3 at the earliest, unless you play a way or play a card that helps you lower the countdown right away, which I don't think there is a way to lower countdowns outside of Sundisk stuff. But still, I like the card. Fairly solid. I'd play like maybe 1 or 2 at the very minimum. Not amazing against aggro because it comes out on 3, but still okay. I feel like you're playing this for the early Predict to get some early Predict synergies, so if there's enough Predict synergies, you will probably like this card. Now, next up, very simple card, but a card I am in love with. We've got Preservarium. I talked about this, not specifically this card, because it wasn't around when I was talking about Countdown when we first saw Countdown, but I talked about a card like this that was like countdown something, and then at the end of the countdown, draw some cards. And here we have it. Here we have Preservarium. I really like that they've made it so you don't have to wait for the countdown to finish to draw all of your cards, because when you summon this card, you already get to draw one right away. One of the reasons why cards like Guiding Touch and Pale Cascade are so good are because they draw a card. Sure, this thing's not really like a combat trick. This is more of a slow draw spell, I guess, is the best way to describe it. But a 2 mana cycle, and then in 2 more turns, you'll draw another card. So you're getting card advantage is still really nice. Now, sure, unlike Pale Cascade and Guiding Touch, you can't use spell mana, so that's a little bit meh. But I feel like for any non aggro Shurima deck, you're going to play at least 2 of these. 3 if you're really hard control, of course, as well. Unless there's better card draw in Shurima, but this feels like this is going to be the Shurima card draw for now, at the very least. Who knows, in the future, we might get even more. I don't know. I love this card. I can talk about this card all day. It's so good. Sure, it's a little, compared to something like Salvage, yes, it's cheaper than something like Salvage, or I don't know, Deep Meditation, and I guess Deep Meditation only gets spells. But it is cheaper. You have to realize that. You're sure Salvage is you get the 2 cards right away, but you're paying an extra 2 mana. Here you're only paying 2 mana and you get one of the cards right away already, and then you're getting the other card 2 turns later. I guess it's technically a landmark, so you could destroy it, but if your opponent wastes landmark removal on this kind of card, you're more than happy, I feel, because you're probably playing you might be playing Sun Disc as well, so you'd probably be happy, right? And you kind of got a card back anyway because it cycles, it replaces itself. So if your opponent wastes like a Scorched Earth on this, you're insanely happy. Next card. Next card. I don't know about this card. Aspiring Chronomancer. 2 mana, 2/3. Play, predict. Very, very simple card. I don't think this card will see too much play. It's just not that much, in my opinion. The only reason I think you will want to play this card is if you want some early, like really early triggers, and we'll see. We can see on this page there's a reason why you would want that. The other reason I think you would play this, even without any prediction or predict synergies, is you just want a 2-drop. And you're a mono Shurima deck. I think this is the only 2-drop in Shurima that we've seen so far, of course. So this might get played, but 2 mana, 2/3s. I talked about this before in other videos. 2 mana, 2/3s are kind of meh compared to 2 mana, 3/2s, just because they can't block Fearsome like 2 mana, 3/2s can. 2 mana, 2/3s want to live in a world where 1 mana, 2/2s are very popular, and 1 mana, 2/2s are a little popular, but not extremely popular. Like 2/2s and 2/1s is what you want to see as a 2/3, in other words. Still, though, I think you might see this deck or this card get played because people are going to try Mono Shurima. People are going to want a 2-drop for their Mono Shurima just to help smooth out the early game. Or maybe they'll just skip turn 2 in Mono Shurima to bank 2 mana to do something in the future. Don't know. We'll have to see the rest of the cards. Now, the next card. I think this card is good. We have Kahiri the Student. Kahiri the Student is a 3 mana 3/3 that says, when I'm summoned, grant me +1/+1 if you've predicted this game. That's it. So in essence, he's really just either a vanilla, no text, 3 mana 3/3, or a 3 mana 4/4, who I guess you could technically silence to bring him down to a 3/3, I guess. Still though, I think this card's actually slightly playable. If there's enough prediction synergies early on, and it's not bad, and you want to play it, like Ancient Preparations and Chronomancer, they're not bad, but I feel like you're going to play those cards because you want to play Kahiri. Also, I'm probably butchering his name, but whatever. And before you say Streamer, that's just a 3 mana 4/4. That doesn't sound that impressive. If you're saying that you probably were not around when Loyal Badger Bear and, of course, Grizzled Ranger, I guess, were first released, Badger Bear used to actually be a 3 mana 4/4. They had to nerf it because it was so OP as a 3 mana 4/4. Now, granted, that's also because the Grizzled Ranger was a little bit bigger as well. I think it was a 4 mana 4/1. So you can imagine a 4 mana 4/1 that drops a 3 mana 4/4. That's kind of nuts. But people were actually playing the Badger Bear as just that card by itself, not including the Grizzled Ranger. They were playing Grizzled Ranger too, but they were also playing Badger Bear as well. Just because it was so hard to deal with. It was like, how do you kill the Badger Bear? You can't Calling Strike it. Are you really going to waste a Thermogenic Beam on a 3-drop? So who knows? Nowadays, though, there's a little bit better interaction, but I don't know. A 3 mana 4/4 is still a little scary to me. Like, Mystic Shot's not great against it. It dodges Calibrum from Aphelios. Dodges Culling Strikes. Sure, you could Thermogenic Beam it, but do you really want to Thermogenic Beam this? When you'd rather Thermogenic Beam something like a champion or just a big unit in general? I don't know. I'm a little scared of Kahiri. Now, my only hope is that the early, like the 1 and 2 mana ways to predict are just bad. And the only reason you're playing them is because of Kahiri and maybe other predict synergies we don't know about yet. Also, next card, Xenotype Researchers. I don't know how to evaluate this card. I think it's good, but I think I might be overrating this card. 3 mana 3/3, so fine stats for the cost, not terrible. We've played 3 mana 3/3s before. When I'm summoned, grant 3 random allies in your deck +3/+3. I've seen some people say this is like Omen Hawk and Avaros and Hearthguard. I think I have the right card, the 5 mana 5/5 that gives the rest of your cards +1/+1 in the deck. I wouldn't say it's as good as those two because you don't know where these cards are going to be. Like the Omen Hawk hits the top 2 units. Hearthguard hits every unit in your deck. This could hit like the bottom 3 stuff in your deck, and you'd be really sad you just played a vanilla 3 mana 3/3, which is not terrible, don't get me wrong. Now, the reason why I personally think this card is good is because of Predict. The way I see this working is you play Xenotype Researchers on 3 or whenever, and then after you play Xenotype Researchers and get its effect to go off, you play Predict. And then you might see, again, it's just might, you might not as well because of RNG, but you might see one of the cards that got buffed, and then you can predict, put that card to the top, draw that card next turn, and then you got stuff going. Or maybe draw the card that turn if you have some card draw. Maybe you have a Preservarium in hand to play. Who knows? So I think this card is good. 3 mana 3/3s are 3 mana. Yeah, 3 mana 3/3s are okay to play if they have a decent ability. We've seen the 3 mana 3/3 Mage Seeker get played a little bit. Avaros and Trapper gets played, but that's because he makes a 1 mana 5/5 in your deck as well. So I think this card is solid. It's kind of fighting for a decent slot in the deck, I think. The 3-drop slot is being contested by Kahiri, and at the moment it's also being fought for with Aphelios and Ezreal. Sure, those are non-Shurima champions, but those are also 3-drops you have to think of if you're not a mono Shurima deck. I don't know. I'm just scared of this. Like, Xenotype Researchers hitting elusives kind of scares me. And I assume this can also hit champions too. So Xenotype Researchers hitting Renekton, 4 mana 7/7. Terrifying. Anyway, though, enough being scared of this Xenotype Researchers. Next card. I think this card at the moment is bad. Promising Future. I'm going to say it this way. Don't get mad yet if you like this card. I think the card is bad now, but it has potential. I don't think this is a card that's bad that doesn't have potential and will probably never see play without Riot helping it out. I think this is a card that is bad for the current card pool we have, but if there's ever a really good countdown card with a really, really powerful countdown ability, then this card will be a little bit good. Not nuts, but just good, because it's an expensive card and it's slow. It's a 4 mana do nothing, really. It doesn't affect the board or anything, so you're going to have to really get some good value. I should read the card real quick, right? Promising Future is a 4 mana slow spell. I always hate slow spells, but this one's fine, I guess. Grant an allied landmark. My countdown completion effect activates twice. I'm pretty sure, I could be wrong here. If I'm wrong, tell me in the comments, I guess. I'm pretty sure this doesn't do anything with the Broken Sun Disk because the completion effect for the Broken Sun Disk is restore the Sun Disk. So unless it lets you do the draw twice, I don't think this is that good for the Sun Disk. And even then, even if it would let you draw Ascendance twice when you restore it, I still don't think it's worth it. So the only other two countdowns we have are the Ancient Preparations and the Preservarium. I don't think it's really worth using Promising Future and putting it in your deck to either get another Clockling or draw another card. You're spending 4 mana to try to get an extra 2/2 or try to draw an extra card. That's not worth 4 mana, in my opinion. And that's not worth putting a mediocre card that is Promising Future in my deck. Now, again, I feel like this is a card that's going to want a really powerful countdown ability, and we might see more. I'm like, I'm not going to guarantee it because I don't have any insider information, but I can almost guarantee, I feel, there's going to be like some big late game landmark, like 6 mana countdown, 7 mana countdown landmark that's going to have some crazy nutty ability. And that is the kind of card you'll want to use with Promising Future. Who knows? Maybe there will be like a 5 mana or even 4 mana countdown 2 or countdown 3 deal 5 to the board or something. Sounds kind of strong or whatever, right? But and then you would use Promising Future, so it's like instead of dealing 5, it will deal 10 to everything outside of Nexus, because that would be kind of a little nuts. That's pack your bags. But that is the kind of card I think Promising Future wants to see. Not these cards, not Preservarian or Preparations. That is not worth 4 mana. Plus, the nightmare is you play Promising Future on your countdown landmark, and then your opponent plays Scorched Earth, and then you basically just got 2 for 1. You threw away Promising Future, and your opponent killed your landmark, and they pseudo-countered Promising Future with 1 card, Scorched Earth, so a little scary. But whatever. Next card. This is another one I can't really wrap my head around and evaluate well. I think it's a meme. I think this card is a meme, but I am hopeful. I am willing to be proven wrong because I think this card is just too clunky and expensive to do anything. It is Kahiri the Returned. 6 mana, 4/4 fearsome. Kind of mediocre stats for a 6-drop. When I'm summoned, create a copy of me in your deck. When you see me in a prediction, grant all allied copies of me everywhere, +2/+2. This is so slow. I just don't see why you would do this. If there's a way to maybe discount the Kahiris, that's like, and I know there's a smooth soloist, but maybe if there's a Shurima only way to discount Kahiri, maybe, but for 6 mana, this card is really expensive. Even if you get 1 buff, it's still a 6 mana 6/6, which is like Cithria. Like 6 mana Cithria, of course, which is not terrible. You have to get this to activate twice, in my opinion. And even then, you still have to pay the 6 mana to get the guy on the board. And even in the late game at like turn 9, turn 10, 6 mana is still a lot of mana. Like, you're spending a lot of mana. Sure, he's got Fearsome, so he's a little tough to block, but that's not that crazy to block. I feel like if this guy is going to see play, he's going to need help. And the help he's going to need is there a way to offset his expensive mana? Because 6 mana is a lot, like I said. They probably made it 6 in all honesty, so you can't summon 2 Kahiris in one turn at 10 mana. And number 2 is, how good are the predict effects? Is there, and also, will there be a spell way, in other words, a fast way to predict? If there is a fast way to predict, I could see that being used as a pseudo combat trick for Kahiri. Your opponent tries to use, like, I don't know, a 4 damage thermogenic beam to kill Kahiri. You play a fast spell that says just something predict, see Kahiri, give your Kahiri +2/+2 at fast speed. That way, the thermogenic beam doesn't kill your Kahiri. Now, granted, I'm just speculating future cards here. We don't have any fast speed predicts. They're all either on creatures or landmarks, so who knows? Anyway, though, I love this predict mechanic. It's the kind of mechanic I love. Slow, dirtily, kind of just doing nothing in the early game. And then in the future, in the later game, then you start to use all that advantage you've accumulated and crush your opponent. That's my kind of game. Anyway, though, that's going to be it. That's all of the cards we have seen today. I feel like tomorrow we're probably going to see some more non-Shurima cards. Show me Ionia, please. Or Freljord. I'll take Freljord. Show me Udyr. I don't know. I like Udyr. Anyway, though, I would love to hear your thoughts on these cards. I still just think Preservarium's nuts. If there's any card that you think I'm wrong on, like maybe you think Promising Future is nuts, or maybe you think Preservarium's crap, I would love to hear it down in the comments below. If you just enjoyed the video as well, I'd love to see if you guys could leave a like or a comment down below. It always helps me out and all that stuff. If you guys would like to keep up with the Legends of Runeterra content and other content, you can always subscribe to the channel as well. And if you want to watch me play some Legends of Runeterra, you can always go and check me out at my Twitch account over at twitch.tv/Zenaton. Play Legends of Runeterra pretty much every single day. Always a good time there. Anyway, though, with that all said and done, thank you all once more for watching this video. And until I see you guys in the next one, bye!